In this video, we'll be installing the OspreyHost 11.7.100 web client. This assumes that the OspreyHost 11.7.100 server is available and installed. Our first step will be to add a host entry for the server. This is not a strict requirement. The entry could also be done on a DNS server if local DNS is being ran on the network. However, A, that is normally not the case in most Osprey host environments, and B, that is something that is outside the scope of this video. Please contact whoever handles your network support if that's the route you wish to go. In order to create the entry in the host file, the file is in the same place on any Windows system. Windows, System 32, drivers, etc. We do, however, on most modern Windows operating systems need an elevated privileged command prompt, i.e. an administrative command prompt, in order to do this. There are multiple ways to get there. In this case, we're going to simply click on the Windows key, type CMD for command, and then right click to choose Run as Administrator. There are multiple other ways to do it. This one is convenient for this video. Once the command prompt comes up, it drops us in C Windows System 32, so we're going to change directory to the drivers etc folder. And then we're going to load the file up in our preferred text editor on this system. That happens to be Notepad. Our next step is to come down, create the entry. In this case, the server's IP address happens to be 192.168.20.129, and our entry needs to be OspreyHost.webclient.server. Please note this is a change from 11.4.9.9 and prior. Next, we're going to save this file and then close it. We can close our DOS prompt by either typing exit or clicking on the X. Next, we're going to run the installer that was previously obtained from the Osprey Retail Systems reseller site. Right click on it, choose Run as Administrator to launch. This will bring up our splash screen and initiate the installer. Please note there have been a few tweaks to the installation routine, as there is from version to version. However, the overall installation is basically the same as it was in prior versions. Okay, once the splash screen finishes, we're going to click on Next to proceed. You should read through the license agreement and then click on the radio set to accept it and click Next. And then lastly, Install to begin the installation. This installation procedure will install all the traditional web client files, including programming libraries, assemblies for .NET, report templates, and so on. It will also update the configuration in the registry, as well as the security and the particular registry key needed for the web client, so that is no longer needed to be manually done. This does not mean that you should still not start the web client as an administrator the first time. That is necessitated by the fact that in order to create logging into the Windows Event Viewer, that needs to be done as an administrator. So therefore, the first time you start the web client, please start it as an administrator. Otherwise, subsequent times errors will occur until it is started as an administrator. Additionally, as with prior versions of web client, the initial install is done locally, and then updates will be pulled from the server as they are applied to the server. However, one significant note to the web client here is that as of 11.7.100, the web client can still function if the connection to Apache on the server is not available, because the Apache has been turned off or what have you. However, please note, if that connection is not available, the web client, while it will start and run, will continue to run its existing code base. So if updates have been applied to the server, those cannot be sent down until a connection to the Apache is made. Therefore, server maintenance packs, as was detailed in the server video, will now enable Apache after they've been ran in order to facilitate this. Please keep that in mind on your installs. As we can see now, it is trying to install the Progress web client itself. it's done the other prerequisites. Now it's going to install the OspreyHost portion of the web client. We're going to click yes in order to do so. Create the OspreyHost shortcut. Perform system tasks. At this point, as it says, the application is ready to run after we reboot the machine. While you can technically run it before the reboot, it is recommended to go ahead and do the reboot as it requested so it can finish up a couple of other tasks. So we'll click OK on that, finish. We're now going to reboot the machine and then we'll resume the video. As you can see, we've now rebooted, so we're going to go ahead and run the web client. In order to do so, we're going to right click on it and choose to run as administrator, as we discussed a little earlier in this video. It's going to go ahead and offer to pull the file. As you can see, there has been an update, so we're going to go ahead and apply it. And as we see, it's applying the update, performing any component updates that need to occur. The component updates have since finished. And now we'll have the splash screen as it connects to the database via the PAS-OE connection. And now we have our login box. So we'll go ahead and log in. The default login is again Unify Host 1966, provided that has not been changed. And that will bring up the OspreyHost main menu. Keep in mind that, as has always been the case, the web client will not update the manual if it's been updated. However, as is the case both on the web client and the server, the latest manual can always be downloaded on the client by clicking Download Latest Manual under Help, assuming that there is internet access available and a firewall is not restricting access. So there you have it. Thank you for your time.